Hey, it's Chris. So the Apple Card just did something that's totally and completely outstanding. And actually, it's very groundbreaking in making this move because Apple is doing something that is helping them stand out in this ultra competitive landscape of what is the credit card world. But what's really crazy is what they're doing isn't necessarily anything new. They are doing something to actually show that they care. Yeah, but before we get into that, if you don't mind completely destroying that like button as a clear indication to YouTube that you care. And if you care and I care and Apple cares, well, there will be a lot of caring going on. So please smash the like button an odd number of times and let the algorithm know that this is a good and informative video. So with that said, let's just talk about credit cards. So if you remember from my 5 new credit cards that will approve you instantly video, by the way, if you haven't checked that out, I'll be sure to put a link down in the description. One of the cards that I mentioned in that video was the Apple Card. Now, it may not be the best in terms of perks and free stuff, but it's a great starter card for someone with marginal or even bad credit. I have heard reports of some people getting approved for this card with credit scores as low as 570. Which is really crazy. But even then, Apple just can't accept everybody, okay? Some people are going to be denied when they are applying for the card. Now, usually when you apply for a card, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but if you apply for a card and you don't get accepted, instead of it telling you flat out no over the phone or on the internet, just straight up embarrassing you, thanks to the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, which prohibits discrimination in any aspect of a credit transaction, or really just to put it simply, if you get denied for a card, they have to explicitly tell you in writing. Well, anyway, because of that law, if you get denied for a credit card company will mail you a letter and tell you in pretty generic terms why they denied you. Now, even though you can be denied for a credit card for a whole number of reasons, most of the typical reasons include having too much existing debt, your income is not high enough or maybe not even stable enough, or you have no credit history, or you just have too many delinquencies on your credit. Those are just a few of the common ones. But anyways, regardless of why you might be denied for a card, typically that rejection letter that you receive effectively ends the path, all right? There is really nothing else that you can do other than just get upset with the fact that you didn't get accepted for the card and just move on with your life, which is rather depressing because that's just the end of the line. It's kind of like finally getting the nerve up to ask your crush out on a date just for them to flat out say no, and then you actually never ever see them again. You see, leaving you with nothing to do but watching YouTube videos and smashing like buttons. But once again, Apple is doing something completely different. Instead of leaving you high and dry if you were to get denied, instead of ending the path, they're creating a new path. In fact, they're calling it Path to the Apple Card. So Path to the Apple Card is a new program where if you are denied for an Apple Card, applicants will receive a new notification later on in the day offering them to join the program for up to 4 months. So once a user opts into their device, they receive a once-a-month update on their progress on specific tasks that they could complete that are completely personalized just to their situation so that they can improve their credit score to a point to where they would be able to be approved for the Apple Card. Now, Apple is able to do this because the company that they are using to run their Apple Card program is called Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs. Sorry, didn't mean to say that. Actually, I did. Bruh. Anyways, Apple is going to be using Goldman Sachs information that they gathered when trying to determine your credit worthiness to begin with to see if you're a good candidate for the card. And then they're going to use that information and then prompt you monthly for 4 months to help you make changes to your credit so that you can qualify for the card later down the road. So since the Apple Card is an unsecured card, it is definitely worth getting, especially if you have average credit. It can really help you build your credit to a point to where you can start getting higher tiered credit cards at places like American Express and Chase. So getting one is totally worth it. But for some, even if you don't get a credit card at all, it is totally worth the effort to fix your credit. And Apple is going to help you do that. So the updates that you will receive include include specific steps for you to improve each reason that you were denied for the card in the first place. So then after 4 months, once the customer has completed the program, they are again invited to reapply for the Apple Card. Some examples could include a prompt to pay other credit cards and other personal debt that may appear in your credit history. Also being reminded to make other payments on time, whether they are secured or unsecured, or maybe it's getting a prompt as simple as resolving some past overdue balances. Apple is going to support you getting there with their card, which is a far cry from what is normal in the credit card world. One thing that I have learned from the comment section in my 5 credit score hacks video, which you can also check out, I'll be sure to put a link down in the description, is that there is a lot of common information to improve your credit score. Unfortunately, it's not so common. Not a lot of people know about the things that you can do to improve your credit score, which really is sad. I mean, so many people do not have the real window into the factors that determine whether they are accepted for a credit card or not, or even know what to do when they are accepted for a credit card. But with this path to the Apple Card program, Apple is literally bridging the gap of actually helping people realize what they need to do in order to apply for a decent credit card that has good benefits. I'm telling you, this is a game changer. I mean, I have not seen this really anywhere else, at least not that I know of. If you've heard of a program that does something like this, please be sure to let me know down in the comments. So now, instead of getting a piece of paper in the mail telling you that you've done wrong and then not really doing anything to help clear the matter, now Apple is going to give you step-by-step tips on what you need to do and to be proactive and attempt to fix your credit. That's amazing. You see, what Apple is trying to do here isn't necessarily anything brand new in terms of their transparency. One of the greatest features of using the Apple Card is that little payment wheel that they have inside the card's interface right there on your phone. It's got to be one of the clearest and most well-made interfaces for any credit card offered on a planet, because it clearly shows you how much interest you are going to pay if you do not pay off by this date. And you see, what is really crazy about this whole thing is that's exactly how credit card companies make their money. It's by hoping people forget to pay and end up paying on interest. Yet, Apple is throwing caution to the wind and actually trying to help, showing that they actually care about their consumers. That is wildly different than what is normal in this industry. So with that said, what does that mean about the Apple Card moving forward? Well, this is what I think. When you are in the middle of a room where everybody is dressed exactly the same, the only way to stand out is obviously to dress differently. Apple is doing just that. They are taking on an industry, a ruthless industry in credit cards, and trying to make it an honest one. And that's great news for consumers. But what is really sad is that it takes a company to be honest for it to actually stand out. You see, I learned that lesson with my own YouTube channel. In order to stand out as being different from all of these make money online guys, I decided to portray an honest approach to making money online with an online business that wasn't filled with a whole bunch of fancy beaches and expensive cars and lavish trips and working on the beach, you know, just everything that you see usually on YouTube when it comes to trying to make money online. That is exactly what I was not trying to portray. So in an effort to be different, I decided to show honestly how to make a legitimate income online without having to sell your soul. And as a result, I started to stand out. Apple is doing something very similar. They are standing out by not trying to take advantage of people. But before you get it twisted, I'm not saying that companies like American Express, Capital One, Chase, and Discover are taking advantage of people. But sometimes they are not as upfront as they possibly could be when it comes to the amount of money a person could lose if they do not handle their credit the right way. In fact, a lot of the reasons why you see on your credit statements how long it would take you to pay off a balance if you were to just make the minimum payments, that's really only there to try to scare you. But it was forced upon these credit card companies to include that on every statement that they printed by law. So just as history has proven, if they didn't have to do that by law, they would not include that kind of thing onto their statements. In fact, just a couple of years ago, those companies that I just mentioned made a combined $30 billion just in credit card interest income. Yeah, there's 30 billion with a B just from credit card interest, which by the way, should be a sin to ever pay credit card interest. Just making a note of that. So do your best to pay your card off at the end of each month. Always, like no questions asked. Just do it and smash the like button while you're at it. So anyway, with that said, I applaud you, Apple. Thank you so much for being different. Thank you so much for helping people who probably did not grow up with the knowledge of how to handle their credit and taking advantage of the tools that are available, tools that are being provided by companies like Apple, and use that information to take control of your credit right now. And in the grand scheme of things, even if this service does not lead you into ultimately getting an Apple Card, it does leave you with some type of indication or even direction, I should say, of what you need to do with your credit right now so that you at least have somewhere to turn. This is something that no other credit card company is doing. Yet Goldman Sachs, in conjunction with Apple, are making the changes and giving people an opportunity to enjoy the benefits of having a good credit score. So with that said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't made it this far into the video and you haven't already, please be sure to smash that like button as well as subscribe. We post new videos weekly and would really hate for you to miss any future updates. So be sure to tick the little bell notification icon as well. Also, if you would like 2 free stocks, please go check out Webull. I'll be sure to put a link down in the description. Just by signing up and depositing $100, you're going to get 2 free stocks that are valued anywhere from $12 to $1,400. In fact, you do not even need to spend the $100. As soon as it gets into the account, you can just withdraw it right back if you'd like to, and you would still get those 2 free stocks. So be sure to click the link down in the description, sign up for a Webull account, deposit $100 and get those 2 free stocks. Then come back here and let me know what stocks you got. So stay safe and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.